Good afternoon, Robert Scribbler filming for the OBX wave report from atop Jeanette's Pier, looking down on some very large 6 to 8 foot waves rolling in off a very stormy North Atlantic Ocean, kicked up by a combination of Hurricane Lee and a strong frontal system that is just offshore here. A massive swell coming in from Hurricane Lee from the south and east, and strong northeasterly winds cutting against the swell, creating a very wild ocean system here off the Outer Banks. And we did get some earlier footage of some waves from Key Island, which were extraordinarily rough and wild, and also very rough and wild up here at Jeanette's Pier, if a little bit smaller. Looking out to the south and east, you can just look at this raging series of white caps coming on in. In the distance, clouds from that frontal system, which is smashing up against Hurricane Lee and interacting, so you've got a lot of convection out there and storm clouds popping up. Here in the Outer Banks, clear but brisk with strong northeasterly winds in the range of about 20 miles per hour. I have not seen a surfer out today, and that's probably a good thing considering how rough it is. Yesterday was right on the edge. Very rough surf conditions. Heard lots of stories about bad stuff happening to people breaking their boards or whatnot. And to advantage, paddle out myself, but was very careful in the rough conditions. So once again, the better part of valor here is live to surf another day. I am up on Jeanette's Pier. I did want to give a shout out to some of the community folks who are doing a documentary on the Ash Wednesday storm. The Ash Wednesday storm was a major storm to affect both the Outer Banks and much of the East Coast, with a 13-foot storm surge. My father did see this particular storm, and him and his friends and his brother got into a canoe and paddled down Atlantic Avenue after that flooded during the Ash Wednesday storm. And out here we've got what appears to be a kite surfer. I'm trying to find the kites. I can see the kite. I don't see the surfer, which is a little concerning. But wow. Hold on, I'm gonna check this out here. Wave conditions out there very rough and very dangerous. It appears like I have an unmoored kite and in the video, and we're going to go down and communicate that information after we've done the wave report. I do not see a surfer in the water. Wow. Okay. All right. So wave conditions for today here in Nags Head, according to wave monitors and wave reports, officially 6 to 8 foot and very choppy, as you can see. East-southeast swell at 7 feet and 15 seconds. And of course that's pushing up against the northeast wind, creating very rough conditions. We are looking down from the pier, so the downward angle of my camera will make the waves look smaller than they actually are. Do not be lulled into a false sense of security. We've got north-northeast winds at 21 miles per hour. 78-degree air temperatures, ocean water temperatures at 79 degrees. And up in Virginia Beach right now, we've got 4 to 6 foot waves, choppy conditions. Down in Rodanthe, we've got 7 to 10 foot waves, choppy conditions. I did get down to Key Island and got some video of the massive surf down there. You have an east-southeast swell at Rodanthe of 8.1 feet, 15 seconds. 79-degree air temperatures. Ocean water temperatures, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And then down at Buxton, we've got 7 to 9 foot plus waves with choppy conditions. Southeast swell at 8.4 feet and 15 seconds. North-northeast winds at 21 miles per hour. Air temperature 76 degrees. Ocean water temperatures 82 degrees. And down at Frisco, we've got 7 to 9 foot waves and semi-clean conditions. Alright, so we are likely to see very large, very rough surf through today and through tomorrow. Conditions starting to improve late Saturday through Sunday morning and getting back to, I guess, more sane conditions here in the Outer Banks late Saturday through Sunday morning. Maybe Frisco having some decent conditions on Saturday morning. We'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, so let's get into our information from the National Hurricane Center on the tropics and on storm conditions in the Atlantic. Right now, Hurricane Lee, a 100-mile-per-hour hurricane moving north at 12 miles per hour, is presently south and west of Bermuda with tropical storms conditions spreading across Bermuda and now impacting Bermuda. Lee is a huge storm with tropical storm force winds in a diameter of 450 miles and a 12-foot swell diameter of 920 miles. A very massive storm with a massive imprint on the ocean. The maximum swell is arriving in the OBX late today and through to tomorrow. So we're starting to experience the maximum swell of Hurricane Lee right now. Once again, the swell is expected to continue through at least Sunday. The second hurricane that we are watching offshore is Hurricane Margot, which is a 75-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane southwest of the Azores and stunningly close to Europe, supported by those extreme ocean water temperatures, very hot ocean water temperatures driven by climate change, which in turn is driven by fossil fuel burning. And those very extreme ocean water conditions generating some very extreme storms in the North Atlantic, despite El Nino, which produces wind shear and tends to chop down the hurricanes that do form during El Nino year. So far this year, we have had all the way up to the letter M in named storms. And right now, we are also looking at a third disturbance in the central tropical Atlantic with a 90% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone over the next 48 hours. This one expected to likely become Nigel over the next few days. So we would be getting to the letter N. We only go through the letter Z, and this is an El Nino year where storm frequency is supposed to be less, but climate crisis driven by fossil fuel burning has totally turned that particular climate feature upside down. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX wave report. I'm going to go down and report that apparently unmoored wind sail. Hopefully that windsurfer got in okay, but just lost his sail. And as I always do, I'd like to ask you guys to please do everything you can to help speed the transition to clean energy and protect our coastlines from the impacts of climate change. Impacts of climate change being rising sea levels. Rising sea levels driven by melting glaciers, which is driven by the extra heat put in place by fossil fuel burning. More intense storms like we are seeing now in the North Atlantic. Unfortunately, those storms will grow more intense as fossil fuel burning continues, and ocean heat waves that harm the ocean health and create those conditions for those extreme storms, and last of all, ocean acidification, which harms our coral reefs and the habitats they provide for so much sea life. Over 1 million species itself just supported by coral reef systems around the world. And also, ocean acidification does harm all the calcareous organisms in the ocean. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX Wave Report. Can't recommend you guys getting out surfing today. It's just too crazy nasty, too dangerous. If you do get out there, please exercise extreme caution. Please pick a break where there's a very deep water channel. And if you feel tired or exhausted in any way, please turn around and get back to safety. All right, so thank you for joining me once again.